Looking good. Aren't y'all? All my collective, all my Charlie Angels is looking good. Whew. All right. Welcome back to another episode of Daily Motivation for this beautiful whatever days it happens to be for you. But for me on my planet, it is happy Taco Tuesdays. Even though I got my good old Halo right here, I'm about to crush in a moment. Let's just get into it. I just came back in from a session of grounding. It's cold in my place, so I got dressed up, right? Then I step outside and it's humid McGumid. I'm like, baby Jays, it's gonna be a warm one today. Even though recently it's been like in the 70s, which has been beautiful. I've been highly anticipating that spring weather, that fall weather. And just like you all know, time has been speeding by. Like, I think Brittany Phillips said it earlier yesterday when I was watching her video. She was just talking about how fast time is flying past, and we're already in August. It's going to be fall soon. Halloween's going to be here. Seems like the same conversation I have over and over again around this time. And with all the planetary alignments happening, we're all going through that phase together, and it's a roller coaster of emotions. And I got to give us all air knuckles props, because we're holding on to that roller coaster railing through this ride. I mean, it's backwards, forward, sideways, diagonally. I mean, deep drops. I mean, we're hanging in there. And a lot of people are noticing the old world fade away from them. Forgive me if I sound a little down. It's like, what time is it? It's 3:45 a.m. on August 12th, Tuesday, on my planet. But this is a timeless message. So I guess I was subconsciously just keeping it down for the neighbors, which is a respectful thing to do, right? But I'm noticing a lot of people are getting withdrawn from interacting with other people. And I think I was watching Trend the Genius video earlier. I know, psychic. And he was bringing up the same point, which I'm not saying it like this. He brought up the same point, which I've been known, not to say it in a spiteful way, but I'm just saying, I have noticed that pattern, not ever since technology came out, but years ago, how people, when they're using the dating apps, as soon as the dating apps started coming out, it was like a death of the old world, ushering in the world of like Skynet. That's exactly how I looked at it. It's like, this is the age of the Terminators. This is the age of iRobot. Human interaction, socializing, the art of socializing is like dead. Like back in the day when I used to go to bars and just go out, that would be the main driving point for me to get up out of my house, to go talk to someone different, get a different interaction with different energy. Then when I noticed during those periods of going out and going to the bars, and I realized like the females, it was like small talk. It was just like the art of conversation was dying. It was just like, did you catch the game? And did you watch this show, Love of Hip Hop? I mean, I'm not knocking anybody, but like I'm a sapiosexual, I guess, if I'm saying it right. Like my ex-girlfriend told me this back in the day, and a few other lady friends of mine back in the day would would use that term sapiosexual. They're looking for like more intellect, like a conversation, you know what I mean? Like in depth, insightful conversations, not just some like vague, let's just get down to the business type of conversation. It just started getting boring. And I've always been an intellect, but there was a period that I would only say I was a man of few words, right? Squirties. Girls got your heads in a sick place. But like the art of conversation is what started driving women to become more attracted to individuals, right? And I fought that at a period. I was like, man, shit, I ain't trying to get all intellectual. I just want to fuck, right? Point blank. And then in hindsight, once that girl broke up with me and so forth, I started realizing that I had to change my perspective up. I couldn't just be out here as a womanizer. Hence, when I make my music, I was realizing is like I'm in a new frequency. I'm in a new earth, right? And I want to vibrate higher, and I am vibrating higher. But just for lack of words, I don't like using "but" because it sounds like an excuse, but it's just a learning. It's a learning curve for me. Where I'm getting at is like, I still have a lot of issues that I'm working through, even though I'm in a new earth. I can't lie to myself and say I'm fully healed, because when I record my music, I find myself still bringing up these PTSD issues through my music. And I was sitting back in my, my chambers, and I was asking myself questions. Honest questions like, how come I find myself gravitating to these topics when I'm being in my creative process? And my spirit answered me back and said, because these issues hasn't been healed, and your older artist self or your other artists within you that hasn't gone anywhere still wants to make music and still had a lot of music to create at the period where business didn't work and you hit some crossroads. You realized family and business doesn't mix, and I'd rather stay loving my family versus getting involved in the music business with those emotions involved, like signing a contract for money over family. And I found myself doing that at a period, and that caused some separation amongst me and my brothers and so forth. That's a gap that's still like there, you know? So that side of me still has music that needs to be released, that needs to be heard, and that helps transmute it, because I'm not going to fake the funk and act like I'm just a priest and I'm just like all goody two shoes. I've been attempting to be the best version of myself, saying, okay, well, this side needs to go, this side needs to go. And Spirit Team is like, no, you need to embrace the dark and the light. That's why you're a Libra. You are a scale. You cannot get rid of one side and expect to be whole and authentic by only representing the light. Because if you only represented the light, right, then there would be no appreciation in the dark. So hence, you are still transmuting both. And the more you feed the light is what we're looking for. We want to see you walk more on the light side than the dark side, right? Embrace both sides, love them both because they are you, but do not dismiss one side and act like just because you're going to be more light than you're authentic. You're authentic by just showcasing everything you're going through daily. Even though this is a new transmission, this is a new earth, we are lucky enough to see in this light that we can be, slow down, these analogies are coming in fast. We are lucky enough to be able to be a galactic being in this vessel during this life period and embody the 3D and the 5D in this vessel. Because what I'm getting is during this transmission period where all these planets are aligning and the frequencies are getting higher, the Earth's Schumann frequency, if I'm saying that right, Schumann resonance frequency is raising her frequencies to adapt to what's coming in from the solar flares, how the scientists are labeling it, from the sun releasing more of our solar DEA energies into our bodies and so forth. And if we're not made to vibrate at the frequency this Earth, Mother Gaia, Mother Tiamat is raising at, then we would be eradicated, literally. We wouldn't be able to survive. But we're lucky enough to survive. Hence, we are chosen for this mission because we are vessels. Our vessels are strong enough to contain these energies and to be able to vibrate high and get more intuitive without like spontaneously combusting, like just blowing up because there's just too much frequencies. It's just the vibrations like this, and our vessels like, oh, we can't handle it, right? Nasir Ra was talking about like spontaneous combustion during like the LA fires, I believe. How like a lot of these houses, after the fact the fires were happening, karma, if you know, spiritual warfare, where the fire happened, there was only legs left and the rest of the body was gone. And it looked like, based off of the CSI work, if you know, it was a spontaneous combustion. But that'll be another time for another topic, which I just recommend go to Nasir Ra and get more esoterical knowledge from that brother. He breaks it down more scientifically, esoterically, On this show, I was about to say no platform. On this platform, no filter. I was blending words together. Mercury, right? And I noticed when I was grounding, the full moon was still out there. I mean, it wasn't as full. I was like, oh, that's right, it was a full moon. Time be blending in, right? So on this show, no platform. Thank God I almost lost it. Spirit team, you're awesome. On this show, no filter. I happen to get to the meat of it. I give you a great template of my downloads, and it's up to you to do like the scientific breakdowns of it, the esoterical breakdowns of it. There's a lot of the collective that are really great at that, like my baby Light. She's so good at breaking down. Like all of my collective are. They have certain traits that they're good at breaking down. Like Light is a psychiatrist. Like she's a spiritual psychiatrist. She can look at certain issues and break it down to an understanding of why it's happening spiritually. For those that know, can see the signs of why it's happening. Because a lot of us, through our spiritual journeys, ask ourselves questions. Why is this happening? We're doing X, Y, Z, but this continues to happen. Then she breaks it down in like a quantum physics foundation where we can understand it, where it's not too complex. And she's perfect at that. Michelle Malloy, she's perfect at breaking down like just the bullshit of the hateful energies, the Jezebelian energies, and the witchcraft, and the enviness of people, just like Light does. I mean, all of my collective, I don't want to say does the same thing, because that that doesn't highlight their attributes, because they're all special in their own way. It's like, if you know, you know. But Malore is more like, she's like a Punky Brewster, If you know, you know. Like she's a soldier. She would just beat your ass. Right? Spiritual, she just beat your ass. She don't have no cut cards. She don't play games. She'll just break it down to you and tell you what it is with her sexy, raspy voice. Bam, right to the point. We don't need to play no games. And Brittany Phillips, she's a spiritual guidance counselor. Like, that's the best way to say it. I booked a hypno session with her. So I'm going to get down. I'm just going to face the reality of it. I was like, okay, there got to be some blockages in here. Let's just sit down. You know what I'm saying? Just sit down in the psychiatrist's chair and just say, all right, so what do we need to know that our ego is just has our 300 shields up? There's something, see my throat chakra? There's something within we need to remove. It's a certain generational pattern that's been embedded into me, conditioning that I'm telling myself I'm good, but obviously through my music and other outlets, I'm finding myself still addressing these issues. So it's still within the core. It needs to be eradicated. So when I was watching Brittany Phillips' video earlier, I was commenting on her comment. I was like, okay, I'm gonna book a hypno session soon, right? That's the best Peter Parker way of moonwalking out of the situation, or Ferris Bueller walking out of the situation. I'll get to you later, babe. And your ego's like, all right, let's just take our time on that. So we don't want to go that deep on it. We can handle it ourselves, right? We all go through that shit with that little voice on your shoulder. He's kicking his legs. What are you talking about? So you want to get yourself what? Hypnotherapy? You don't need no hypnotherapy. They're going to put you to sleep. They're going to tell you to beat off like a wild monkey. You're not going to remember none of this shit. They're going to personally record all that shit. And all of a sudden, they're going to snap 3 times. You're going to wake up and say, it was a good session while they stuffing their personal breastplate, the personal tape in their breast pocket. And like, the session went good. How long was it? It's only 5 minutes. In reality, it's like 6 hours, but they have the curtains closed, so they don't even know. You don't know if it's daylight or nighttime out there. They got that false light behind the behind the curtain and shit. That one bulb that resembles a sun and shit. So you sit there, you take a quick glance, but he's trying to keep the focus on them, so you don't look around and notice that the outside conditions has changed on your ass. Sitting there, you don't know the drool marks on your shirt. She's just keeping you on eye contact. This doesn't happen for everybody. I'm just going a little deep, but this shit does happen though. So I'm going to have some deterrents to make sure I don't fall asleep like a wild monkey and shit, and have anybody have tapes on me and then end up next week or next month on TMZ showing a tape of me in some chair beating off like a wild fucking 12 monkeys and shit. I ain't doing that. You ain't catching me archback 12 monkey beating off anywhere, right? And if that happens, I'm going to old yell at myself, even though I can't kill myself like the Hulk. I spit bullets out. It's crazy. Have you tried? I didn't try anything. I either do it or I don't, okay? I'll show you the bullet wounds, right? Like, oh my God, he's trying. Attempted is what you meant to say. I like to mess with your algorithms. I'll never do that, ever. Okay, God even wouldn't allow me to do that. Baby J's. So, where were we getting at that? That's crazy how the download almost escaped me. So I had to be real with myself and make sure that, that if I'm doing this hypnosis, thank God I almost lost it. So I was tap dancing. I was like, oh, we almost lost her. I was about to say, all right, good night, or good morning. Not good morning, grand rising, right? Depends on when you land on the video, okay? That citrus is always good, but I must have got a cut because as soon as I squeezed on it, it started stinging me, gang, and I'm like, all right. That's right, I was doing some work at my client's house the other day, and I was cleaning the man's basement, and I was using one of them long wet vacuum hoses, you know, those little wobbly hoses that kink up all the time, you know, when the vacuum starts making a high pitch noise, you know, it's clogged up. If you know, you know. I was using one of them hoses that just had the kink right at the beginning of the bitch. I'm like, oh, my baby J's. And I was like Bruce Willis underneath his tables and all that type of shit, and I was just like trying to get the hose in the corners to get them good old grandfather spider webs that's been up there for 30 years and shit. Definitely Bruce Willis necking and Bruce Willis arming in that joint, and I had this finger on the nozzle, and it was perfect. I was getting them corners like a champion. I was like, oh, bet. I had the flashlight looking like the cable guy in that bitch. I was like, motherfucking baby J's, I'm all deep in this bitch. Got to scoot back out of this motherfucker. Just to fix the kinkies. All right, man, just stay right here. You try to squeeze the motherfucker. Try to keep that bitch cylindrical and shit. That bitch all kinks up at the wrong time. You get back under that table and shit. Like a mechanic, you know, underneath the fucking engine and bitch. Like a Spider-Man crawling on the fucking ceiling. Yeah, I was like that. So this finger was doing some extra index pointing. And I guess I pulled back some of the fingernail, so the citrus start stinging McGinging. You like that story, McGory? All for that. Let me just get to the point. It wouldn't be exciting, and that's the way I get my stories. Not even stories. It's just that's how I. Fuck it, I don't need to explain shit. Found myself going back to my 3D self. Let me explain what's going on here. This is a new day and age. I'm only doing this because I love you. Okay, I'm not gonna be one of them stereotypical definition kings that sit here banging the man shit. I can't see myself doing that. I'm gonna be the most humbling, likable king possible. I'm not here to people please, but my heart just is, I cannot. I can. The left shoulder showed me a lot of images of our past lives where we sat there and we were kicking our feet and just say, all right, drop him in the fucking alligator pit. No, come on. I thought you loved me. You didn't look at me long enough. You didn't smile long enough. Drop him in the alligator pit like he's Petty Pete. I was a Petty Pete back in the day, all right, for the pettiest things. So this time around, I'm making sure I'm the most balanced king, chosen one, period, okay? That is just how I am attempting to conduct myself. If it sounds like I'm explaining myself at times, so fucking be it. I want to be one of those people that has a great legacy and not a Red Skull type of legacy, okay? I don't want the Red Skull legacy. I want to be the most king-authored legacy as possible, but the Alonzo Hayes legacy, okay? The Zoe-Dog legacy. He used to be a piece of shit, but he did his damnedest to get as close to God path as possible. If he explained himself, so fucking be it. As long as he wasn't out here cussing people out and demanding shit, a lot more people would be throwing tomatoes at his ass, and he would have a lot of tomato shirts. But he don't have any stains on the shirt, so he's doing a good job. All right. Love it or hate it, I'm the vigilante chosen one. Okay, I'm doing shit you love and you hate, but at the same time well-rounded in all the demographics that I'm touching. I'm helping everybody. I'm helping the cats that is on the low, Scott. That's on the low side of the shit. It's like, fuck that shit. If Zoe was this low and he came up there, I can do it too. I'm in the neutral zones for the people that don't know what the fuck's going on. I've been neutral as well. And then when you get out that neutral phase, I'm helping the people that's graduating to the next phase, to the next 3D or 5D, 6D, 7D, you know what I'm saying? So I'm helping everybody. So really, I am like the perfect person that can fit in every Django position or Jenga position slot. That's basically what it is, and that's why God told me, my ancestors, hey, do this video and let them know through your music that you're still transmuting a lot of your bullshit. You tell yourself you healed a lot, which we have, and we're very proud of a lot of our accomplishments we went through. We're still in the battlefield. We're sitting and receiving. We're not in the battlefield. We will always be in the battlefield. Forgive me. What do you make up your mind? I just had a reminder from the heavens that this is spiritual warfare. This is always going to be a game of light and dark. There's going to be periods of a lot more relaxation and thriving versus surviving. I'm in my thriving period. I'm happy for my generational wealth and generations to come, that this name Hayes will never be forgotten. Alonzo D. Hayes would never be forgotten. Alonzo Darrell Hayes would never be forgotten. And it doesn't matter what light it is in, I'm now immortalized. And that feels fucking fantastic. So I take that all on the chin, unapologetically. But that is just the label that God, my ancestors allowed me to speak on, because a lot of this shit's sacred. But I can speak on this because as a life coach, this is very crucial nuggets. I'm not going to gyp any of you at all. I'm not going to gyp any of y'all at all. My poet didn't even know it. If you know, you know. So this is for generations to come. This is archival information right here. So I'm being very descriptive on purpose. So if a planet needs to be saved with my information, I can be as descriptive as possible. We ain't skipping no bullet points, because I used to be a shortcut Jenkins. I used to shortcut a lot of shit. Now I'm giving you the proper foundation so you can take this DIY, do-it-yourself kit. Yeah, DIY. So I was thinking about the abbreviation. All right, hashtag DIY. You can bring this bitch right in your home, your backseat of your car, underneath of a tree, underneath of a TP. It doesn't matter where it's at. This is very mobile. It is user-friendly. My information. You can set this bitch up anywhere. and do it your damn self and get your results. All right, I ain't gonna get you some complicated algebra shit. And you're like, and keep you lost. Like a lot of these systems, they give you just enough to keep you lost so they can charge you an arm and a leg to get to the next stage. If you know, you know. Another microphone drop. We're about 30 minutes in, but 25 minutes, 14 seconds. If you know, you know. Yeah, 772. All right, that'd take me a second. Wait a minute, 25? Is 1 plus 4 is 5? Yeah, that's right. You know, you know. And that's stinging McGingin. So, yeah, man, that's what it basically is like, through this self-development journey, we're going to be in a lot of unknown positions. And that's awesome. I just saw an orb. I know I saw an orb. That was dope. Yeah, that had to be, right? Thank you, ancestors. You did tell me to show me some signs. Bet. Thank you. I was hesitant on doing this video. I was like, are you tired to see my face? I'm like, now you got a lot of people to teach. Oh, don't lose it. Baby J's. Yeah, that's right. Through this journey, there's going to be a lot of unknown periods. Okay, just make sure that I didn't have my ancestors just flick that, but they could have. There's going to be a lot of periods that we go through that's going to be unknown, and we're not going to have a clear definition answer of how to get to the next step, besides knowing we're divinely connected. And sometimes we're going to go through periods of silence as a test to make sure that we have enough confidence to continue going on without always having that divine cloud of guidance over our head. Sometimes the cloud of guidance gets withdrawn, so God and our ancestors can test us. Like, okay, let's see what they do without us. Let's see how well they've went through the training. And then we sit there, and then we have to evoke that emotion. We got to live in the now as whatever we're thinking in here is now, and that can be an adventure. See how I was careful in what I said? Because a lot of our words, especially in this frequency, in our thoughts, manifest like that. So instead of me using the C word to say this could be a C, right? If you know, you know. I said this can be an adventure, because adventure sounds a lot more fun and adrenaline building, right? Versus the C word, where it can seem like there are obstacles. Saying challenging instead of saying challenging. Replace that word so your brain won't think, oh, it's just gonna be hard. Because we self-doubters. We build our own self-imposed prisons by what we say out of our mouths. So we gotta be very careful. Thank you, Spirit Team. That's a good thing I'll leave you guys on as an experiment before I end this. But yes, we gotta be very careful in the words we say, because it can be very adventurous for us to live in the now. Meaning, I'm a multimillionaire as it is right now, right? I'm a multimillionaire right now. It feels fucking fantastic. I'm the first multimillionaire in my family. The first one to create this legacy, right? We all have legacies to create. I'm not here to talk about money. I'm just saying that is a fact, right? So, at times I don't believe it. I don't even believe it, right? My older self has certain habits we have created, and it loves it because our inner soul knows that we can live off of literally scraps. So God says, okay, you can handle little. Now I'm going to trust you with a lot. You show me you're humble. You show me you're not greedy. And as soon as you got a little bit of power, you didn't get up on your throne and start talking down to my children. No. The more disrespect you got, the more love you gave. Another box you checked off. With money, it doesn't change you, Alonzo. You still have the loving heart and still helping people. Another box checked off. Keep on going and going. Bottom line is God always looks at what does that heart do? And that's why this is a good transition for me to wrap up this video. I was taking a cosmic shower earlier, and my spirit team said, let's just do this experiment with one another so you can answer yourself honestly about what type of person you are currently, and once you answer whatever your answer is currently, just know there's room for change, and it's a measuring gauge to know where you're at currently in your spiritual journey. And there's no end and there's no destination. It's just a now. That is another thing that we need to unlearn everything we have learned. Okay? If you know, you know. So there's no past, future. It's just now is now. Because never mind. That's another time for another topic. I don't even want to do it to y'all. So let's just do this experiment. Okay, and a few clicks back, what I was saying is like being the first multimillionaire in my family, and my body still is accustomed to the old ways. We're used to surviving. Now it's a thriving stage. When I'm saying it now, I have the tingling feeling in my gut, the butterflies of excitement, like it's Christmas Eve and the next day we're getting our Christmas gifts. Like that is the feeling that I'm having more daily. And when the small voice talks to me and says, "Well, never mind, that's fantasy," I have to remind myself, no, this is happening. I'm in the state of receiving. It is happening. The universe has already conspired for my success. This is a cosmic destiny. This is happening. My inheritances are here, will never be taken from anybody. That's it. All right? My kids will always know about this. And they will live based off of what I did, but they'll even be better than me. Just like Jesus said, hey, there will be other ones that will come that will even do greater works than me. And all y'all, right? So, hey, my kids are going to do a lot better than me. There's going to be some knuckleheads within my family, but they're going to get off path and they're going to come back on path. I'm not even going to put that into existence, but there's going to be some adventures. Okay, we're not going to be all perfect, but I'm going to be the one they're going to look up at the statue. Hey, look at him. There's your granddaddy's Obi. He did a lot of bullshit, but look where he's at now. All right? And I'm going to be an Obi-Wan spirit looking over everybody still, all right? It just, life goes on. That's why I got the hoodie McGoodies on. No time for another topic. Let's get to experiment. Let's see what type of person you are. So I'm thinking about doing a new show segment, or this may be a part of the segment, a new part of the segment without making it a new show. Let's see what type of person you are. Let's see. Yeah, that's what the segment's called. Thank you, Spirit Team. It's called What Does That Heart Do? That's the name of the segment. What does that heart do? All right, let's give you guys some examples, and then I'll let you guys go for another daily motivation episode. Okay, let's give you the rules. I can't just get all excited and just start speaking without us knowing the guidelines. For this new segment called What Does That Heart Do? I'm going to ask you guys a therapeutic or hypothetical question, meaning a rhetorical question. You don't have to give it an answer. Yes, you do, but you don't have to put it in the comments. It's just something that you can ask yourself. I think it's called a rhetorical question or a hypothetical question. I like hypothetical. It's hypothetical questions. Meaning I'm going to propose a question to you. You ask yourself this quietly and let your soul answer honestly. All right? I mean, you can't lie to yourself, right? So that's why it's awesome this way. It's like the David Copperfield format, all right? Back in the day, he used to have 12 cards on the screen. He'll say, all right, man, pick a card. I know you in your living room, pick a card. I'm guaranteed I'm going to select the card you picked. It's one of those type of formats. All right, if you know, you know. When he made the Statue of Liberty disappear, all right, if you know, you know. Okay, I dated myself, but it's all right. I'm Young McGung and Benjamin Button. All right, baby Jason, let's get to this hypothetical segment. What does that heart do? I love it. I'm already excited, but let's hurry up. We're 33 minutes in. Okay. When you have your grand rising in the AM, this is just a general question for all of us to ask ourselves, just to raise your vibration. This is a part of this show, but it really doesn't go with the hypothetical question for what does that heart do? But maybe it does. But since it's new to me, I'm just being honest with you. Still, I'm just being transparent with how this segment's going to go. So when you have your grand rising in the AM, how does your heart feel about yourself? Do you love yourself? Are you excited to get out of that bed and do some more creativity? Or are you a little begrudgingly and dreadful to get out of bed because you feel like you have nothing to get out of bed for? Ask yourself that question and answer yourself honestly on that. That's a good icebreaker. That's what that is. This is icebreaker. So if this happens to run out of storage and cut off, this is the new segment. This is how the new segment is going to operate. I'm going to ask you questions like this, and you have to ask yourself honestly, these questions, and your spirit's going to answer it solely because it's personal. So you don't need to worry about being embarrassed and faking a funk in front of people. Oh, yeah, I would. But honestly, your spirit's like, no, we wouldn't. All right, next part. So answer yourself that question. Do you feel good when you get up? Do you feel motivated to create something new? Or do you feel like you need to stay in bed and you have nothing excited to get up for? All right, bet. That's the first one. Ask yourselves. I feel excited. And some days I feel, but recently I feel like it's a new earth. I feel excited as shit. All right, baby J's. Second one. If you're going to work and you see somebody that doesn't have a house and they're on the corners and the intersection and they're saying, please help me because I need help. Do you help that person? Or do you act like you don't see him and keep on driving on? I just kept it simple like that. Instead of you thinking, oh, are they going to use the money for drugs and all this other stuff? Nah, he deserves it, she deserves it, I'm going to keep on going. That's something you need to ask yourself too. Okay, this segment's called What Does That Heart Do? So be honest with yourself. When you're driving to work or wherever you may be and you see someone that's in displacement outside asking for money, what does that heart do? Be honest with yourself. All right, baby J's. Okay, all right. I think I saw another orb. When you see someone of the opposite sex, not that one. I didn't mean to say that. If you see someone of your opposite race, how do you truly feel about them? Do you feel like you give them the same love that you would give yourself or someone of your same race? Or would you treat them a little differently because they're not your same race? Oh, that's a good one. That's a gut puncher. And I'm going to end on that one. So what does that heart do? Ew. So ask yourself those honest questions and let your soul answer honestly too. And then we'll be back with some more questions down the road. That's good though. Makes you think. What does that heart do, baby J's? Spirit team, you guys are good. I love each and every one of you. This is another episode of Daily Motivation. If you just tuned in, just rewind it to the beginning. I'm your boy Zo-Dog, a.k.a. Alonzo Darrell Hayes. I've been around for a minute. Mr. Does It All. I'm your guys. Zox Molder, I'm your Indiana Jonesers, even though there's a young indie out here doing a damn thing, and I think his name is Sheldon. Sherry, he's on TikTok. He's on a lot of different platforms, dropping jewels on how our ancestors operated and how a lot of these buildings are from a different, it starts with the Teetotarian period. Forgive me, man, right? He's a young indie that uncovers a lot of jewels that we need to know so we can understand how this world has operated and how a lot of these scientists are lying to us to keep us from knowing the actual truth so they can benefit off our ignorance. That's bottom line. So look up for young Sheldon, or young indie. His name is Sheldon. If you know, you know. Rewind back to the beginning. I'm your boy. I'm out here letting you know that there's a lot of bullshit going on in the Matrix. I help you free yourselves if you're willing to do your shadow work and really ask yourself the deep, tough questions. Hence the new segment Spirit Team brought up to me in my cosmic shower called What Does That Heart Do? So ask yourself these questions, and then once you answer them honestly, then you'll know where you're at, your gauge, to see where you need to go. I love each and every one of you. Like I was saying earlier, my shows are like an onion. There's multiple layers to it. Hence, I'm a life coach, and it's supposed to resonate with those that it's meant to resonate with. And these messages are all timeless. So don't worry about saying, oh, this is a 2-week-old message. Trust me, if it's on your timeline or what do they call it, For You page, FYP page. I've always was wondering, what does FYP mean? Until I see a lot of people up here saying it, like my girl 88888. She looks like a beautiful Rihanna, just talking about, hey man, if I appeared on your FYP page, you know that you're successful. You're doing a damn thing. You know what I mean? So if it pops up on your For You page, that's the cosmos and your ancestors telling you it's meant for you to watch. Especially if you feel the inclination in your gut. Hold on. If it stops you, it makes you think twice, it's meant for you to press play. I love you once again. Stay operating on a loving foundation. This is a self-development journey. Be yourself authentically as possible all the time. And there's multiple layers of ourselves we're going through, okay? So I'm not going to be perfect. I'm balancing it out to be the best person I can be. Hence, just look at my videos. Um, my mission is to attempt to stay as loving as possible. Man, I have a big heart. Take cares. Have a beautiful, safe, wonderful Taco Tuesdays or whatever happen days you happen to land on this. Till next time, daily motivation. Think differently and no filter. The realest show, hands down. We have no FCC around here. Nobody tells us what to do. We just do what God tells us what to do. That's our only boss. God hired us, so who's going to fire us? Thank you, Maj. You got the T for that line. Take care.